Do 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 do. All right, we're streaming. Time for me to manufacture a link and tell the world about it. Streaming indie dev, probably a short bit of mission stuff. Paste. Oh, that's not how you paste it in because it's no longer a good link. There we are. And then over here. Having a really dumb week, and it's not helped by me not getting enough sleep and having to fight fires at work. So my brain isn't fully on today, but we're going to try and make some progress anyway. Right now we have a mission set up, but I've been having a hard time keeping track of how the missions actually function, and I'm not sure whether or not that's because I don't go into the system very much, or whether it's because it's a strange format. Either way, we're going to try and push forward with it, but we may have to refactor it at some point. So the basic setup for the missions are that we have missions with a number of mysteries in them, and the mysteries can be consecutive or they can be all available at the same time. Inside of each of those mysteries, there are a number of objectives, which again can be consecutive or all available at the same time. And depending on those settings, the sort of scenes you get for actually accomplishing mission objectives changes. So that's the basic idea. And right now we've got a couple of missions created, a couple of mysteries created. And you can see that this yellow ball here is tracking all of our missions. If I can get it to actually highlight the thing it's actually highlighting, instead of random crap in the background. Maybe I should make it a solid ball so I can fucking click on it. Jesus. So there you are. And Unity's autocomplete is terrible. It sometimes just doesn't work. So we're going to go ahead and change the mission's draw to an opaque sphere just so I can click on it. I spent some of the day earlier working out a new kind of spaceship building setup, which I'll probably put a prototype together in February sometime. I'm pretty much useless in January and February, but it will be fun to try and set that up. I might just do it like in Blender and not actually put it in Unity, just to test to see whether things come together right. So here in our mission, we have an onDraw gizmos, and we draw a wire sphere. I'm going to change that to just draw a sphere, and that should be fine. So when we do that, it's going to be like a completely opaque yellow ball. Boom. That should be clickable. Yeah. So just to test that. Yeah. So if you want something to be easy to click, to make it opaque, it really is annoying that I can't see through it anymore, but we'll survive. So that's our mission setup. And right now, the way that we work is we've got an intro mission followed by another mission. And we can see the yellow lines that are being drawn. These bold yellow lines are primary mystery lines. So the first mystery is located here because it happens that the first objective of the first mystery element is here. And then the second mystery is located over here because as the first element of the second mystery objective. And with that, we change over to this thinner yellow line, which is just all of the objectives in the second mystery. And that'll keep repeating forever. The yellow boxes are mystery objectives. The yellow spheres, I think, are an unrelated... I think those are handles for the rope. Let's see. Yeah, so those are actually rope handles. They're all yellow. Maybe I should change the color, but I think it's okay how it is right now. It might make more sense if they were vertical pins. Yeah, let's try that instead. So instead of drawing a sphere, we're going to try and draw a vertical pin. Here you can see us drawing a line to each of these objectives. I think what we're going to do is draw a line at our current altitude and then draw a line down. So vector3 mpos equals m.pos, mpos.z equals pos.z, and then we're just going to draw that and then draw a line down like that. And that should allow us to have like a pin approach instead of what we currently have. Grind, grind, grind. There. Oh, except for Y isn't the correct. I'm in Blender mode. There we go. So the only issue here is that the next line gets drawn down at the bottom. So here we say pos equals m.pos. We obviously just want to say pos equals mpos. And that should get us a network of lines drawn at the golden sphere's height. There, see? And we can move this golden sphere up if we need to, but in order to do that, we are going to have to move these outside of it for a minute so that I don't drag them along when I move it. So we're just going to stick those outside for a second, raise this up to above the water level, and then bring these back in. There we go. And now what we've got is we've got kind of a visual map of the mission area so that the vertical lines are much easier to see, and then the shallower yellow beams are much less, they're obviously not part of the main progression. They're part of the smaller progression. And doing this, we should be able to create like just a mission overview that we can see from anywhere, and we'll roughly know how our mission is going. In terms of, you know, creating it, that won't show up in the game. Boom. So if we want to see our first mission, it's down here, and when we get within our limits here, we'll have our buddy contact us. And we can just get our feedback here. I got some weird hesitation in these. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. So with that in mind, we can find the power port, recharge the power hab. Okay, so things are happening out of order here. And my assumption is that things triggered in the wrong order. So, let's go ahead and see what I did wrong. Intro, strict order, base power missing. Does that say missing? It says mission objective. Okay. So in theory, this should work because they should only be able to do the mission scenes. Let's remove the size there until we get a faster paced setup. These are just delaying things. But my thinking is that maybe we ended up selecting element 1 while we were on element 0. And that's possible because mission objectives aren't actually limited. They're not like, you don't have a laser pointer at them until they're active, but when they're inactive, you can still click on them. So what we're going to have to do is make it so you can't click on inactive objects, on objects that aren't currently active. And here you can see we've got this active objectives, which should keep track. And let me just make sure that that actually works. So if we do objective complete here, yeah, we do in fact remove it from the list of objectives. So that should work. So the question becomes, is objective complete firing up too early? No, it can't be, can it? Let's try it. Okay, yeah, so there's the problem. So basically what happens is the objective gets removed from the objective list, and then the playback starts. So the next objective is technically active during playback. So what we've got to do is make sure that when we're playing something back, we lock down our objective list. So to do that, all we need to do is have like an isPlaying function. If we take a look, we are playing here, m.play. That's exactly what we're doing. But we don't keep track of whether or not we are actively playing. We just have a thing that says exposition done. So we're going to need to go ahead and keep track of that. We'll just add in a quick little bool. put that down here. Busy. And so what we do is when we say m.play, we also say busy equals true. And then here again, we're going to say it. And then in exposition done, we'll say, there we go. Oh, I think it goes outside. Yeah, there we are. And up here in active objectives, we're going to go ahead and say that if we're busy, return an empty set. There we go. Should be all we need to do. Let's try it out. So basically, we're going to make a beeline for that white box, and we're going to try and cause it to double fire. And it double fired. Did you see that? So it didn't work. Something went stupid here. Something didn't quite work. Interesting. So basically all I do is I go from this giant sphere to this little teeny sphere, and that ends up being our two mission objectives. The outer one triggers, and then the inner one shouldn't be able to trigger until the outer one finishes playing. You can actually see the yellow line very faintly because it's within other stuff, but it's the same yellow line as this setup. So... Let's take a look here. Mission is busy now. Mission is complete, self-destructing. Mission is busy now. It never unbusies. It never says that it's no longer busy. It doesn't ever say this. Because we haven't finished with the objective. Which means that somehow the active objectives test isn't actually working. Maybe it's being cached or something. Oh, you know what? It is in fact hard-coded, now that I'm thinking about it. It's got this collider responder. You see this? So what we need to do is in the mission objective on complete, here it is, we need to make sure that we are actually able to be completed. The only issue with this is that we don't know too much about our boss. We don't really know where we are. We're not guaranteed to be contained within our boss physically. So in order for us to understand this, you can see how we've got this objective complete, which I believe is just this. It just fires this. Yeah, so it doesn't actually do anything. It just kind of says, hey, I'm done. So if we go over here into our mission, we should have, is it the mission or the highlightable object? There's something that does the objective complete here. Let's close mission scene. Is this it? Yeah, see here? We add on listener. So what we're doing is, this is the scene. We're not caring about the scene right now. I think we need the mission or the mystery. Here it is. So when we play, here it is. We add listener objective complete to all of them. And objective complete passes back a mission objective. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, if we're busy, return. We'll go ahead and put a little comment in. Debug.log cannot fire mission objective. Put a little string. Beep. Objective.name. Since we're busy right now. So the other thing I did will keep our dial from pointing to the next objective, whereas this one will keep us from triggering the next objective, in theory. And you can see how it says mission is busy now. See? Perfect. So if we go through this, we should see it trigger the next objective. But not until we're ready. So now. There we are. See? Perfect. Perfect, aside from the fact that we don't actually have any control over the buddy right now. Why don't we go ahead and add that? We'll go ahead and add a buddy control pattern, something that allows the buddy to go somewhere specific. I think that we want to be able to build up our mission modules, and it's a good idea for us to not get too far before we have some of the basics. So if we go into the mission scripts, you can see we've got some scene elements here. These mission scene elements just have a very basic setup, and if we actually look at it while burping into the mic, the only mission scene element we've actually got is the talking head. And you can see how, oh sorry, it's the speak, which uses the talking head. Yeah, so you can see how this is actually pretty basic. All it really does is exist to spawn in another object, in this case a talking head. So what we're going to have to do instead is create our own element that has a similar sort of setup, but we'll just tell the buddy to go someplace and then report back. So in order for us to do that, we're going to need to edit both the buddy and a new scene element. So let's create a C# script, which we're going to call body, buddy goto, or buddy goto. Let's go ahead and delete that and rename it something else. I should have rebooted my computer. It's been up for a long time and it's not in its best health. So buddy swim 2. Here. So we're going to open up buddy swim 2, but we're also going to open up our buddy element. So you can see we're in the namespace missions. We're going to need to keep that. And this is going to descend from mission scene element. There we are. We're also going to need to open up our buddy script. So there's, where's our buddy controller? There it is. It's not in divers for some reason. Now it is. Just keep doing it over and over until it wakes up. Obviously what it's doing is it's recompiling, but Unity's always been absolutely terrible at showing you when it's recompiling. Anyway. Here's our buddy controller. So the basic idea here is that in an update, it grabs our leader position and tries to follow the leader while staying at a specific location. What we need to do is create a secondary function which overrides the target. So there we go. I bought this flavored water, and it's like, I think it's a new flavor because the flavor is super strong. It's like a swilling black cherries that have been dipped in, I don't know, calcium carbonate? Some kind of chemical. So if target override magnitude is greater than 0, then we're going to want to go somewhere. The good news is we will never want to go to target 000 because that is dramatically underneath the level. The level is floating up at like y equals 80 for reasons I won't go into. So yeah, we know that if the target override is above 0, then that's where we're going. Otherwise, we're going to want to return the main diver's position. Like that. So the only other thing we have to remember is that the way that we're currently set up, we try to get near the leader, but we don't try to reach them. We treat the position that we're trying to reach as something we're orbiting, something we're staying kind of close to, but we don't want to actually hit it. So public bool stay at range. And for this, we'll just go ahead and return the target override. We can change it later. There. So basically, we stay at range if our target override is set. I don't know why that's yellow. Oh, no, that's never going to be an issue there because vector 3.0 is not something subject to rounding errors. 0 is a pretty solid number in floating point. At least that's my understanding. So here we've got leader pause. We actually want to change that out for like targ pause, just so it's a little clearer. And we made that target pause. The reason that we do it here, having a duplicate, a local duplicate, is simply so that we don't get leader.transform.position 85 times. So then we get the delta. We handle the y-axis separately for reasons that I've forgotten, but who cares? We turn towards the leader. That's correct. And here's where we do our range. And you can see that basically if the range is too close or too far, we do some stuff. Now, if turn is greater than max range, that's okay. But if it's less than min range, we only want that to be an effect if we are not staying at range, or if we are staying at range. There we are. So basically, once we get too close, we just back up. It's no big deal, except that this should be 0.5, not 1. Fuck you. Okay. Thank you for being as unhelpful as possible. I have never hit insert on this keyboard in the past 3 years, so I don't know why it was hit today. I don't hit numlock, so I don't know why numlock was off. Whatever. So here we've got if range is greater than max range, we're going to want to, this is something where we swim forward. So what we're going to want to do is, I'm trying to think about the best way to handle this because basically we're going to stop. I guess we'll just go ahead and say if range is greater than max range or not stay at range, then go there. And what we're going to want to do is if we are too close, we're going to want to count it as triggered, count it as done. So if we're not staying at range and range is less than some magic number, say 3, then we're going to want to count that as complete. And to do that, we're going to want to have some kind of event. Why is it telling me? Oh, no, it's being useless. Why is it? Whatever. It thinks that I want to have it with a generic, but I don't. I just want the basic Unity event. Oh well. What? What's going on here? Oh, I forgot to include the namespace. That's what's going on. All right, so that's why it was confused. That's fine. So what we do is we have a new mission scene element here called Buddy Swim To. If we take a look at Speak, there is a play and a done, and you can see how they're set up. This is an override, whereas this is not. So we're just going to copy those for now and then delete the guts, because that part doesn't matter. There we are. And over here in play, all we're going to have to do is public transform target object, and then we're going to want to have a public vector3 offset from target object. Tooltip or actual position if target object null. So with those in mind, all we have to do is find the buddy, which is easy enough. We just go buddy controller dot live, I believe. It should have a live, doesn't it? Hey. There we go. So I know that we find the buddy plenty of times. How do I go about finding the buddy? Let's take a look at the talking head. It knows. Come on, stop misbehaving. There we are. So if we take a look, the static talking head buddy, I guess it's a baked in. Oh, it's baked in. That's what it is. So we're not actually finding the diving controller. We're finding the buddy talking system. So we're going to want to keep track of the buddy controller. So public static buddy controller live. And obviously in start or in awake, we just do live equals this, and then we can find it from wherever we want. So here we're going to go ahead and say buddy controller.live. See? And then we say target position, target override equals, and then we have two options. We want to go ahead and just set that up ahead of time. If target object, then pause plus equals target object.position. There we are. Pause. And then we say buddy controller dot live dot on buddy target reached add listener done. Exciting stuff, right? So with that in mind, we should just be able to put that into the script and watch the buddy do the task. So if we go into our missions, here it is. Here's our base repower mission. And you can see how we've got this part where it says, here's the port, I'll recharge it. And then it says, buddy script broken. So we're going to delete that part. And we're going to add in our new diver controller. Thank you for randomly just clearing the inspector. So we're going to search for the buddy again. We're going to search down here. We're going to go over here. We're going to have to switch to a different part, which means it's probably going to clear everything again. Oh, it's in mission. Buddy swim to, and put that here. Come on, now 1 pixel. And we can just give it a target object. Now we could leave the target object as blank, but I think it would make more sense if we actually dropped this object into itself. This object is located, it's this gold circle, this pale circle we've got here. So all we need to do is offset that vertically a little bit so the buddy doesn't actually like run straight into it. So we'll just like give it a meter or two like that. And that should do the trick. Werbus stopped in. Hello, Werbus. We're doing mission stuff. So I just made it so the buddy should be able to actually go to the place that I want them to go. We're going to have to fix this visual too. It's really primitive because it's a placeholder, and the placeholder is not really working out at the moment. We'll have to fix it. So here's our hab. We're going to have to do a little bit of polishing, but the basic idea is... So you can see how the buddy is now being told to come here, but who knows where the buddy is. Where's our buddy? Oh, well, he's kind of far away. Is he coming towards us? Let's put the inspector, the game rather, in this little window over here so that we can watch the buddy. Come on, Unity, stop being an ass. The buddy doesn't appear to be moving. So yeah, the buddy's just kind of hanging there doing nothing. There are a couple of things that might be causing that. One, I might have broken the buddy's motivator at some point because I've been doing a lot of random crap. But it's also possible that it's not working. So here's our buddy controller, and here's our target override. So it definitely set the target override. It's trying to reach that location, but it doesn't really know how to do that at the moment. And I'm not sure why. My bet is it's because our forward speed is completely broken. Like, you see how it's empty? That shouldn't be the case. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy the player's speed here. I want to copy it. I think I can just do it like that. Come on. No. How do you copy it? Fuck. Is it okay. Unity, copy, animation curve. Werba says missions and quests is a pain to manage. Yeah, I'll have to keep polishing it. Eventually we'll have a pretty good setup for it, but this game isn't supposed to be terribly long or complicated, so. Well, it looks like their suggestion is to open the prefab file with a plain text editor and copy-paste the text. God, that's really dumb. Okay. So the other option is we can just... Oh, well, the buddy controller is turned off. That's one thing. But I think that was for our own safety. I think it's broken. If we go over to the player, we should be able to copy but we can only copy everything or nothing. Okay, so it goes from -2 up to positive 2.5. Good enough. Unfortunately, we're going to see some barfing here because it's not currently working. Oh, it works, sort of. The buddy is currently located in a very strange position. Let's move them to be vaguely closer to us. None of their animations are going to work. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's actually going to be broken with them, but it should be not too shabby. It should actually function, and that's really the critical part. So the buddy is set to just track us at all times. You can see how we've got a parameter tilt does not exist. That's because it's using the old setup. So now the buddy is at the correct range. If we go towards the buddy, they'll back up. See? So now the buddy should be able to do the things that we want them to do. So this is the power port. And then the buddy should try and go to it. Zoop. Looks like the buddy has a lot of inertia. Alright, so the other thing we've got to do is when the buddy reaches wherever it's trying to reach, we need to clear it. Or else I'll just keep circling the target. The other thing is that 1 used to be like a moderate speed, and 1 is now like super, super fast. Which leads the diver to like really sprinting around. Well, we'll go ahead and deal with all that stuff later. The buddy needs so much work. So now that we've got the ability to actually handle that, we have a whole bunch of options as to, you know, later on we're going to want to change it so that we can have the buddy play an animation and all that jazz. But for now, let's build it out piece by piece. The basic idea is that the mission objectives should move along once we've done that. So let's go ahead and do it, and then we'll take a look at how the mission objectives pop up. So now our disk should arrive. Where's our disk? So our disk doesn't appear to be doing anything. So that's strange. We've got a vertical bar right here. So the mystery entry is still being considered as a existing mystery. It doesn't get cleared, apparently. That might just be an error in my coding. But the missing guide element is a factor. I don't know what happened to it. Let's just take a look. Here's our HUD guide. And if we select it, what it should do is move onto the player object. It's gone. What happened to it? There it is. It's on the player object. Good. So basically, the HUD guide should remain on the player object throughout. At some point, it's being deleted right there. Do you see it? It's gone. So what is deleting it? My guess is that I programmed the HUD object to delete itself when it ran out of objectives. And instead what I should do is have it just not appear. It should just turn invisible. So, it doesn't look like it's in control of itself. It looks like something must be passing at those values. And that something is probably the mission. So let's pop up the mission itself. So what we've got here is a setup where we try and get the closest mission objective and we return it. Here it is, update guide. So here, we destroy it. See that? So if there is no mission, we assume that the whole thing is done. That's not actually what we want to do. We're going to go ahead and just not do that. So instead what we'll do is we will take that mission guide and just turn it off. That'll just turn it invisible until we're done. The problem is that the mission now doesn't understand when it's actually complete. But to be honest, when the mission is complete, what we should really do is end it with a scene element that causes us to go back to the boat. So the mission should never be complete. The level should end before the mission completes.
Meep, 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 meep. Meep, meep, meep. Meep.
Ugh, that might be a little bit too strong of a taste.
Meep, 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 meep. Meep, 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 meep. Meep, 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 meep.
All right, so now our HUD guide should be pointing to the next mission. It doesn't appear to be the next mission objective. The next mission objective should be one of the boxes, and there's like 5 or 6 boxes. But it doesn't appear to be doing any of that. So if we take a look, our mission objective, our HUD guide is disabled. It's turned off at the moment. So my guess is that our mission doesn't realize that it is, yeah. So our mission seems to think that there is no objective right now. And my guess is that what's going on here is it doesn't remove the first mystery. So it's asking the first mystery whether or not it has any objectives. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. So what we actually need to do what we actually need to do is just delete that first mission once it's complete. So we'll delete that first mystery once it's complete. So the mystery and the mission. Maybe the problem is just that I have them both starting with M. Maybe it would make more sense if I renamed mystery to something else like segment. Don't really know. I'll think about it. So if we take a look at a mission objective, we've got these mysteries. We can go into those mysteries by remembering the arcane key presses. And then basically once the mission is complete, which is here, we have this onComplete invoke. So over here in the mission, we must be setting up onComplete. I don't want this to be shrunk. I don't need that much horizontal space. I could split this up into 2 windows. Been a while since I did that. I guess I should just zoom in on the text a little bit so you can see it. So basically when we run a mission, it should be asking each mystery to tell it when it's done. It should be adding in objectives to watch, but it doesn't seem to. This mission doesn't have any sort of mystery onComplete setup. The only thing it does is set the guide. So it's not even noticing that the mysteries are being completed. So we're just going to go ahead and sign up for that. For each mystery M in mysteries. And then what we're going to do is just say m.onComplete.addListener complete mystery. The problem is I believe that right now the mystery completion system is a flat Unity event, when what it needs to be is a special Unity event. Yeah, so let's create that special Unity event. Basically, it has to be able to pass itself as an argument, which it can't currently do. There we are. And then we say system.serializable. There we are. I think that's how you do it. It's been a while. Basically, the setup here is that we create an object, or rather a class, that we can use to contain the new setup. So it's going to be mystery event. Mystery event sounds kind of funny, kind of Scooby-Doo-esque, but on complete gets called down here. There it is. This. That's all we need to do on this side. And on this side, we need to create the completed mystery function, which is not too shabby. We just go ahead and do it. Public void completed mystery. Mystery. There. So once we understand what mystery is completed, we can simply remove it from our list. There we go. And that should take care of the problem. My brain stopped working. Did you hear it? Just like a clunk. It dropped a gear. Grind. There we are. So let's go ahead and run through it and see whether or not our progression works yet. I think the power pack would go better on the back. That way it's harder for the player to just accidentally find it. What I really want is for the player to have to go and search for it. Not hard, just enough to get them to understand that, you know, they might have to look at different parts of the place. And there, see it? That arrow? It worked. We are now able to progress through our various stages of each mission. And that's going to be very valuable for us in allowing us to create these missions. Because otherwise, obviously, they're just basically test cases. So as we move towards this, you can see it's pointing a little bit off center, but it's not doing it well enough. It needs to be smarter than that. We'll figure out some details on that later. This is the actual objective, and you can see that if I click on it, we get the next objective marker, and then we get an arrow to the next objective. Now that's this is not a situation where the objectives are in a strict order. So if we had found the second objective first, it would say objective 1 found anyway, because the point here is to find the objectives in whatever order you happen to want to do so. I believe there are 3 objectives with 1 more over here, so we'll go on to this 3rd objective and see whether or not that's true, or if I damaged something at some point. That's not it. Where's our 3rd objective? Oh, it's over there. Yep. There it is. Okay, so you can see how the disc does point to whatever seems closest. It prefers the first objective because the assumption is that they're in a decent order, but it will let you do it in any order. And once you find it, it'll say objective 2 found, even though that's technically the 3rd objective, because that's the way I set that mission up. It can be either way. And that makes for a more flexible experience because you can allow the players to explore at their leisure. Maybe they can even turn the HUD off if they don't want the guide. Lots of options. I'm coming up on the end of the stream, I think. It's only been 45 minutes, but I really want to go play Dragon Quest Builders too. So I might do that. I'll just talk you through this. Oh, good. The mystery is completed. Thing is done too. Just to talk you through this mission. The basic idea here is there were a pair or a trio or something like that, a few people, humans, in this hab doing research. And this area is a reclamation zone where they're trying to bring the environment back. They're trying to figure out how to create a healthy sea environment. And they went missing one day after a storm. And what happened is, as you move through the level, you'll find out that they went to inspect some damage and never came back. And then when you go and try and figure it out, a giant squid tries to eat you. And that is the extent of the first mission. There is an underground cave system, and it turns out that a very, very large octopus or something lives in that cave system. You survive due to your buddy helping to rescue you, and also that repower thing is a setup because you survive by shocking the octopus. So, you know, as you repower the various devices in this mission, you'll learn that you can do things like that, and you'll learn that shocking the octopus seems like a perfectly legit thing for you to be able to do. But you're still going to be too damaged, and your buddy's going to rescue you, and then the rest of the game begins. And the rest of the game begins with the understanding that you were badly damaged, and therefore a lot of your shit is screwed up. And that gives you an excuse to do things that normally a Bioroid wouldn't be able to do, you know, a robot wouldn't be able to do. I'll go ahead and fix this section, and then we'll call it a day. So this was bothering me since a while ago. The cord, the cable going in here. Here it is. And you can see how it just kind of plugs into nothing. There used to be an objective here, but I guess it's gone? I don't remember deleting it, though, so my best guess is it actually might be buried in here. No. Okay, so I just did delete it. Okay. I mean, it was all placeholder crap, so I can see why I would have. But basically, it's the same thing that we've got over here. It's just this little sucker again, which you can't really see very well because of the lighting there. And these are just basically very, very simple units that feed power, or that feed data back into the main system, and they have a local backup of the data they receive and messages related to that data. So that's how you learn what happened. You ask the devices. Here we've got a little bit of a lapse. It looks like I rearranged this rope a little bit, and so now it's colliding. So if we take a look, I think it's just one of the many anchors inside this rope. There's one. There we are. See how easy it is to edit ropes in this game? That's so nice. It's just nice to have something that just works, you know? It could be a little prettier, but it looks okay. All right, well, that's it for today. I'm going to go see if I can get my Dragon Quest Builders second island done, or also known as goofing off. I'm going to go goof off. And I'll see you folks on Saturday or next Wednesday. Have a good one.